And we're live. Here we go.
Oh no, we're live.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Here we go indeed.
Something weird with the light today. My hands are fading in and out of existence.
It's all good. It's too bad. It's too bad that green screen I sent you didn't fit.
Yeah, it's still here. I got it on my desk.
So we'll have to figure out something else to make the background work.
Yeah. I'm gonna warn you, I need to.
Oh, it's almost working. There you go. Yeah,
It's,
with the green screen, the lines behind you are cleaner.
oh yeah.
See?
Oh. And it looks a little bit like I got webbed hands.
Oh yeah, the screen's a little close, I guess. Yeah, you have to tweak the settings on the cam, but there you go.
I also get green shoulders out of the deal.
Yeah, it's too close.
I think it's huge, man.
The reflection's getting you.
If I ever need to build a raft, I'm using this as a sail.
There you go.
Ugh.
For the zombie apocalypse, you can always use your green screen as it doubles as a sail.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna warn you, I had this meeting, I had a Zoom meeting I had to do with a client, and it's one of those ones I sort of didn't want to do very much, but I had to.
Okay.
And I I had to I don't want to say educate, just tell. Let's use the word tell. So I had to explain to her how to use her CRM, like the company she's running as a CRM
Okay.
that I set up for her, and she's not super technical, so it was just one of these. Nope, click that, click. Nope, over here, kind of deals.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I could have had it any time. She was home, I was home. I could have just done it later, after, tomorrow, whatever. But I wanted to get out of the way. I forgot about the podcast.
Oh no.
So I literally just hung up. I was like, whew, all right. Well, that's that Zoom call done with. Oh, man. And I look at my watch, it's 2 minutes to 4. I was like, oh, I just love doing this podcast. I'm just saying, I'm coming to you already a little talked out.
Zoom
So,
after Zoom. So
Zoom after Zoom.
oh,
Zoom after Zoom.
there you go. That is my life though. I almost live on Zoom most of the time because my clients are everywhere, right? So, I'm not gonna fly to New York or like, where the hell does Dave live again? Um uh Scotland. It's a bit of a long trek for a meeting.
Yeah. I just had a friend of mine say that they wanted some help with the website. I was like, sure. They're like, when do you want to get together and discuss it? I'm like, let's just do a Zoom call.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
actually find, particularly when you're like with this, in this case where I'm showing, like if I'm showing a website, like I built a website for someone and I want to show it to them, get their feedback, any changes. I
Mhm.
actually find it's a lot easier to do a Zoom call because we're looking at the same screen. I share my screen.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
looking at the same
absolutely.
screen. If you do it in person, like they're over your shoulder, you're turning the computer, like it's actually better to do a Zoom call in that case.
For certain things, yeah, absolutely. For consulting, when I'm doing an audit, Zoom is easier and we record it and it's nicer. Because when we
Yeah.
record it, when we're meeting in a coffee shop or a restaurant or whatever, or even their office, I got my phone is sitting there recording stuff on the side, and yeah, it just picks up everything, right?
Do
So
you sit down at the meeting and say, this meeting may be monitored for quality assurance?
yes, and we'll be recorded for training purposes. Absolutely.
Yeah. The training purposes though are for training the client, saying
Yeah.
when they say, you never said that, and you say, I did. I'm going to train you on the fact that I did say this 5 times in our last meeting.
I have Mission Impossible a couple clients. Like, I didn't say that. That's your voice, right? Yeah, you said that. They're like, oh shoot, right.
That's good. Get it in writing, baby.
So no, you Mission Impossible them a couple times, and then they stop trying to flush shenanigans on you.
Yeah.
So
Except for that one guy with the phone stand. Remember, I told you his famous quote that I'll never forget, where I wrote in the contract that you're not going to be happy with the design you've asked for, and you'll ask me to
yes,
change it later, and you'll have to pay me for doing that.
Yes.
And when that inevitably came to pass, he said, I'll never forget it. You keep referring back to this piece of paper, and I wish you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why they're
I'm
there.
gonna check in here. Just gonna check in and see.
Is the website still up?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
It
and the
dead.
domain is available for purchase now.
No, there you go. So, all right.
The website was never up. I left him with no website. And then he went away, and I'm sure made some other web developer's life miserable for a while, and now he's given up.
There you go. Sometimes.
Perfect system. Oh, and also, I think if any of our listeners were familiar with the 9-year delay customer, where I asked him to write I said, okay, so all the spaces are built on your website. We need content to fill these spaces, so just write out the content for me. And the guy was a writer. The guy writes like legal documents and proposals and all kinds of stuff. I was like, okay, so just write it out for me. He's like, sure, I'll
Took
get
him
that right
nine.
back to you.
Took him nine
And 9 years. I just left it. I was like, let's see. Let's just see. I got no reason to contact this guy. He paid me 75% of what he owed me. And I was like, I'll just leave that 25%. I don't care. He can get back to me whenever. And then out of the blue, like 2 or 3 months ago, he got in touch with me, paid me some more money.
Finally
Great.
done. There you go.
Well, but then the problem was it was services pages. He has like 6 services that he offers. And I'm
Okay.
like, great. So I just need content for the services page. And he sent it. Here it is. And great. Okay. Finally got around to uploading the information. He wrote a resume.
Oh,
So for
for the
its
services
environmental
page.
consultation, instead of saying, I'm an environmental consultant, I will consult with you on this. If you have this kind of project, I'll consult with you on that. Blah, blah. He wrote a resume, said, in 1996, I was commissioned by the so-and-so organization of so-and-so place to do a thing for them, and like just gave dates and like achievements. Like it
Isn't
was a
that
resume.
just a LinkedIn profile? Really? Yeah, at the end of the day.
I told him, he sent me one of them as a sample, and I said, this is incorrect. Do it this way. 3 weeks later, he sends me the rest of them, and they're all the same way. I'm like, great, it's going on your website. Don't care.
All right. Yeah, sometimes the genie just has to grant the wish. Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Wish granted.
Wish granted. And he, to be fair, it's his website's more of a resume. He's a consultant,
Right.
so the resume part I think is a good piece to have on there. But you're not selling your services anyway. I'm digressing because I am talked out and want to talk about things I want to talk about instead of what we have to talk about. But have I digressed enough? How are you doing, Earl? How's your week?
I'm good. Oh, I have a on the last episode, somebody actually asked, "Hey, Dan, what was the blueberry
Yeah.
story?"
Oh no.
So I'm gonna leave that for you to respond to them in the comments. I gave you a screenshot of it. It's on LinkedIn. I think it's LinkedIn or Facebook. Anyway, somebody actually legit asked for the blueberry story, so I'm gonna let you answer them.
Oh my god.
I took the screenshot. It's there. It's there. It's just waiting for you, bro.
I don't know. We were
All
so
yours.
cowboy in those early days. It made sense to bring it up in the context of what we were talking about. I think we were talking about when you go on Google, or when you Google your symptoms
Yeah, yeah.
medical problem,
Always bad.
and it's like you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're
Pretty
gonna
much.
die.
Every Googled symptom is whatever has the best SEO, right? And it's always you've got cancer, and it's always you're gonna die tomorrow. And it's yeah, it's like I have a hangnail. That's cancer. You're gonna die tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a hangnail. Cut it. There you
yeah.
go.
Calling it the blueberry story kind of spoils the punchline on it. But
It does, but it's still hilarious.
yeah, and for some reason I never thought to be like reticent to share the story when I was sharing it. Now it's like, now I feel like people are actually watching. That was in the early days when no one was watching, so I didn't care. Now people are watching. But basically, my poop turned black, like
There you
dark
go.
black.
There's the short version of the blueberry story. If
That's
you
the
eat
short version.
blueberries, it
But
covers your.
no, but the thing was, it turned black, and I was like, okay, I'll just look up what caused this. And like the causes were all really, really bad. It wasn't like, oh, maybe you're not getting enough vitamin B1 or exercise or something, or I mean, like, oh, yeah, that can happen when you turn 30. I don't know. Like there was no good explanation. All of them
Right.
were it's bowel
You're gonna
cancer.
die. You're gonna die. That's great.
It put a link for here's how to write a will.
Nice.
you
Oh
know,
my God, that's the best affiliate link in the world. Okay, all right.
right there you go. Will.
On that note, maybe we should dive right into this point.
There you go. Anyway, the punchline of the story is you're gonna die. You're gonna, like different things. Every single one of them was horrible. And then the last one was like, oh, also eating lots of blueberries can do that. Just an aside. Oh, by the way, in case I didn't mention, also blueberries. But anyway, and
Yeah.
I at the office I was working at, this guy who drove in from like Chilliwack would go by a blueberry stand every day, and he'd bring in a flat of blueberries for the office every morning. I was I was going to town on these blueberries,
Hungry
and
one
guess
day.
what happened?
Yeah, there you go. And there's the infamous blueberry
There you go.
story.
Thank you, listener. We respect and reward our listeners on this show.
Believe
You
it or
ask a
not,
question, we
this is a
give you the
business
answer.
podcast. This is a
No
business podcast
matter no
sometimes.
matter how embarrassing it is, we provide the answer. Yes, this is a business podcast. So
Right.
why is this guy? It looks like a pair of glasses. I created this in AI, and it was hard to describe the prompt I wanted. I wanted like the guy holding it like Sherlock Holmes holding a
Right.
magnifying glass. And I don't know. It's like there. I guess it's got the stem right there at the bottom, but it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
looks like a pair of
Close up
glasses.
close up of
Yeah.
magnifying
I think by
sort
the
of.
way, there you go. So there he is.
There you
He's
go.
holding
The
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 magnifying.
big old eyeball.
I think it's so wrong, but yeah. So here is this guy is intensely looking at something. What is
Yeah.
he intensely looking at this week? The question Earl was faced with that we're going to throw over to AI was what was it like? You just sent me market research, but what specifically was the question you had?
They were developing a new tool. I can't say because I'm under NDA, but they were developing a
Ah,
new tool,
come
and the
on, no one's
tool.
listening.
That's what we thought. Till someone asked us
Yeah,
blueberry.
right.
Like, hey, what's the blueberry story? Great. And so
Yeah,
some guy was developing this tool, and the tool he was trying to figure out where the market match fit was. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, well, yeah, this is how you do it. And so I gave him a bunch of stuff, and he's like, oh wow, no one's ever taught me this stuff before. 'Cause I've taken like entire marketing courses, and no one ever talks like this. I'm like, really? What are they teaching you? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what. And I just summarized what I told him in the hack of the week today because I can't believe people don't know this. I'm like, just do this. Really?
Nice.
Yeah, super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Well, no, barely an inconvenience. I love that guy.
We love you. We
That's
love you,
and
Ryan
so
J.
whenever there's a movie that I know is going to be really bad and I don't care about, I don't want to bother watching it. I will go to the pitch meeting,
Yeah, and just find it and summarize it.
pitch meeting on YouTube, and yeah, he summarizes it. I feel like I watched the movie. I get all the jokes out, and it's entertaining as hell. I
Yeah,
don't watch it for movies I'm interested in or like because I don't want him to ruin movies I actually like.
yeah. I only watch it after I've watched the movie. So like, I
Yeah.
just watched Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh, no
Uh,
spoilers. No spoilers.
no spoilers, but yeah. Then I watched the pitch meeting afterwards, just because it's funny as you get to remember stuff, right?
Yeah, like get to watch the movie all over again. Okay. So we ask. So the way this show works is we take a question that Earl has been confronted with in his line of work as a consultant, and we throw the question over to AI, and AI gives us some answers, and then we go through those and we discuss the correctness or incorrectness of those answers. And I'm here as the idiot, Earl being the Earl, to ask stupid questions. So you don't have to.
There you go.
I'm you in this scenario, dear listener. If you were
Ask away.
already Earl, if you were already Earl, you wouldn't need to be watching the show. So you're obviously me.
Uh, Sometimes I watch the show again and remind myself, oh right, that's how you're supposed to do that. So
Yeah. There you
sometimes it's like I'm playing in the background going, hey, that guy's really smart. Holy crap, that's me.
go.
Oh my God, I'm not doing that.
Knows what he's
Ah.
talking about, that guy. Yeah. The cobbler's children got no shoes.
Yep.
All right. So we asked AI this week, acting as a marketing expert, what are methods that you can do? What? Acting as a marketing. Oh, this is your question. I'm like, why did AI screw this up? This is the question you asked AI. What are
Yeah.
methods that you can do marketing research to provide or decide which path to take as a business owner? Give me 3 methods or models to try, 2 things to avoid, and 1 red hot tip to really use market data to make better marketing decisions in market research space. An example, of course, of the bad one is the one I always carry around with me, the guy who wanted to open up a French restaurant and had a basement full of fancy wine. And he opened this French restaurant across the street from a large factory.
I remember that. I remember that one.
And yeah, and didn't bother to sell lunch to the factory workers. He only had fancy French food.
Well, yeah, that's important. If they can't afford lunch, then you're not going to make a whole lot of sales for your
Yeah.
demographic,
And they're probably
right?
not big into like foie gras and escargot. They always want a sandwich, cheese
Yeah,
sandwich.
that's kind of how it works.
All right. So methods or models for market research. SWOT analysis. You have your SWAT team. SWOT, in this case with an O, stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Description. This model helps you identify the internal and external factors that could impact your business. How to use. Strengths. Identify what your business does well. Weaknesses. Recognize areas where you could improve. This doesn't feel like market research. Opportunities. Look for external opportunities you can leverage. Threats. Be aware of external threats that could harm your business. Benefit. Provides a comprehensive view of your business's current position and future potential. Is this market research? Doesn't sound like market research.
Technically, it is. If you look at like marketing training in schools, one of the things that teach you is a SWOT analysis. It's also
Okay.
taught in like business training for like an MBA program type thing. So SWOT is a model for marketing research. I mean, it's looking at strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But what I've decided and learned over time is that who cares about weaknesses? So one of those things that I kind of just learned over time is, just work on your strengths, double down hard on your strengths, and then just focus the crap out of those things. Don't work on your weaknesses because that's what you hire people for. That's what you outsource for. That's what you partner for, right? Because there's always going to be a better person at whatever your weakness is. And if you somehow manage to spend some time working on your weakness, congratulations, now you have a strong weakness. It's still not
Yeah.
marketable and still not competitive in the landscape today, right?
You might have made it
So
up with normal.
it's good to do the SWOT analysis, so at least you're cognizant of what your
Mm.
weaknesses are compared to everybody else in the market, but don't work on them, right? Like, recognize areas where you can improve. Yeah, yeah, that's great. It's important to know where you suck, but that's what
Mm.
you hire people for. That's what you do. You have teammates that can cover your back, right? Because no one can be good at everything, right?
Okay, but
And
what about these? What about this done like from a business point of view? You could have a business that's your roofing company and your weakness is, commercial roofs or something.
sure, then don't advertise for commercial roofing. Real simple,
Right.
right? Go make
Yes.
a buddy who's in the commercial roofing space and then refer them business and then take a piece. Oh, look, you still get money for clients that you've achieved through your marketing, but you're not bleeding out the sides and just giving them away. Turn it into money, right? So if you
Hmm.
suck at something, maybe outsource that or find a partner and sell it to them and let them do it, get a piece of the action, make some money.
Okay. I like that. Focus on your strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses. Just
Yeah, you just life isn't long enough, and
ah,
none of us are smart enough to pull that off, right? So I know my weakness is follow up. It's a very strong weakness of mine, and I tried to learn how to do follow up, and I learned how to do follow up, which then I completely abandoned because it makes me sad, right? I just don't like doing it. So I
yeah.
hired a bunch of virtual assistants, and now I have artificial intelligence robots that do this for me, and all the follow-up gets done, lo and behold, and I'm not sad, so I don't have to do the stuff that makes me grumpy, right? So I'm happy most of the time because I don't do stuff that makes me sad no more. So yeah, take your weaknesses, outsource them, automate them, get them off your desk and not do them anymore. Hire people, go make more money, go do what you're excellent at doing and turn that into money, and then hire other people. Life is good.
Love it.
So there's your SWOT analysis. But yeah, you should still do a
Okay, well
SWOT
that's strengths and
analysis.
weaknesses. What about opportunities? Like, I mean, this seems pretty
Opportunities,
obvious. Like, okay, so if you're running a business, you should look for opportunities for that business.
you would be surprised how many people have a business that is in the seven-figure range. Like I literally just had coffee with a dude yesterday who has a seven-figure business, hasn't done a SWOT analysis yet.
Hmm.
Has not. And then when I asked them these questions, he's like, "Oh, these are really good questions." I'm like, "No, they're not. They're like the basic. Like this is like level one kindergarten. Here's your crayons question,
You
right?
you asked him what opportunities are there for your business, and he went, "Geez, never thought of that before."
Seriously, like
Okay.
opportunities outside the main event. He's like, "Wait, well, we do this." I'm like, "Great. What do you do around that?" He's like, "What do you mean, dude? Sell stuff around the stuff you sell." Oh my God, what a great idea. Like, no,
Uh-huh.
no, no, it's not. This is really basic. Like you should be doing this. And he's already at 2 million revenue. He's at 2 million revenue, hasn't done this yet. Boggles the mind. I'm like, holy crap.
Huh. I guess we'll get him up to $2,001.
Well, there you go. So yeah, but strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. I know it seems basic, and yeah, it's very textbooky, but a lot of people don't do it. I'm like, you should, because it's very basic, and if you don't do it, you're gonna leave money on the table.
So what would be an example of a threat?
A threat would be, are there anybody else? So let's pretend that you are in the import-export business and you import, I don't know, potato chips from Japan, right? If there's another person who can also get the same product that ends up being a threat to your business? What differentiates you from the other potato chip import? And I'm saying potato chips because there's potato chips in front of me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And so what differentiates you from the other potato chip guy? Nothing other I mean, the same stuff. It's from Japan or wherever the hell it's from. What differentiates you from that person? If you tell me price, you're going to die in a hole, right? Because yeah, so strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. Like you like what makes you different? Why should we buy from you? And if you can't answer that question, you're not going to survive very long, right?
Okay.
That's it. Strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. So yes, the answer is correct. It's a terrible answer, but it's a super basic answer. So I agree, but you should be beyond this, especially at 2 mil revenue.
Yeah. So deploy the SWAT team is what I'm getting.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right.
It makes it look in the damn mirror, right?
Just take a second to think about
There you
it.
go.
All right. Porter's 5 forces analysis.
Oh my God, this is like marketing 101 course. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
back in school again.
Mhm. Yeah, it didn't come up with ideas. It just sort of told us what the textbook says. Description. This model helps you analyze the competitive forces that shape your industry. How to use. Competitive rivalry. I like that. That feels like we're going to be out with dueling pistols at dawn.
Nice.
Assess the level of competition within your industry. Supplier power. Determine how much power suppliers have over your business. Oh, that's interesting. Buyer power. Evaluate the power customers have to drive prices down. Threat of substitution. Identify how easily your product or service can be replaced. Threat of new entry. Understand the ease with which new competitors can enter your market. Okay.
I've
Strategy.
always described this because I used to teach this. I'm like, holy crap, that kicks me way back to my days of teaching marketing. Um, as like, this is your castle, here's your moat. How deep and how wide is your moat? If your moat is like, yay big and I can just skip over it, it's real easy to raid your castle, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Same thing with your business. So how many moats do you have? How many drawbridges do you have? How many defenses and towers and stuff do you have set up to protect your castle around it? And how deep is the moat? And so if the moat is really shallow, that's where that threat of substitution and threat of new entry comes in, right? If it's really easy to raid your castle, it's really easy to raid your castle. If the only thing that differentiates you between the other guys is that you got to that supplier first, that's not going to last very long because the supplier is going to sell to anybody who wants to buy, right? That's not a market differential. I'm like, and I had to beat this over people's heads sometimes. I'm like, dude, that's not enough. Like, we're the only ones who carry this and this, whatever. Yeah, yeah. Do you have exclusivity? What's exclusivity? Oh dear.
Oh dear.
And then yeah, so that's kind of what's gonna happen. I don't know if you've heard the story of like Nike, right? And so they used to sell shoes from Japan in North America. And then eventually the Japanese company went, well, what do we need these guys for? Why don't we just sell it ourselves? And Nike almost died because that is where the supplier power kicks in, right? So supplier power was almost their downfall, right? If you read the story of Nike and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, you have to look for potential single points of failure that would upset the apple cart such that the entire business would die. Right. If you have a single point of failure where it's like the Death Star, if we blow up this one thing, whole thing goes kaboom. Right. And so if you have, 11 of those, that's a bad thing, right? So this thing talks about competitive rivalry, it talks about supplier power, buyer power, substitution, new entry. Those are all Death Star level explodies, right? So if any one of those things exists in your company, uh-oh, right? You got to work around it and then position stuff such that you've got other pillars supporting that spot if and when it blows up, right? So there you go. So yes, Porter's 5 forces analysis is a good one, absolutely from the good old days. But again, I consider these all super, super basic. Like you should have done this, way earlier on and just ask the question. Like sometimes it helps being your own devil's advocate. One day, just switch hats, right? And just, today we're going to be the bad guy. Okay. If we were going to raid our company, how would you rip it apart? And then just ask all those dirty questions and then defend against them. Like this is how deep is your moat, right? So, because if the barrier to entry is, I got $30,000, I can start a new business. Lots of people have $30,000 they can start a new business. That doesn't make you special. Like that actually makes it really bad. If someone just has a sack of money and they can come get you, that's probably a bad thing. What differentiates you? And so it's positioning. So positioning differentiates you. Intellectual property differentiates you. Hilariously enough, naming and labeling differentiates you, right? On the Ford, they have this thing called EcoBoost. Every freaking car has EcoBoost. They just didn't trademark it like Ford did, right? It's the difference between a Whopper from Burger King and a Big Mac from McDonald's. I can't get a Big Mac from Burger King. It's impossible. Why? They have the trademark for it. I can't get a Frappuccino from Tim Hortons. Why? Only Starbucks has that name and
Funny,
label.
it's funny you bring that up. Did you see that in Europe they screwed up and lost the Big Mac trademark?
Yes.
And Burger King put up that menu board, and it was like more delicious than a Big Mac.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, like make sure your moat is deep and wide and scary and has sharks and pitchforks or whatever else you want to put in the moat to make it scary.
so,
Like, yeah, make it not easy for people to come and replace you.
so this sounds like stuff you should do like before you even start the business. Once you've had the idea for it.
Yes, and then you should look at this again, like
Yeah.
somewhere in like 6 months, a year into the business. Hey, let's reevaluate this stuff because, when you're starting out, like if you're sub $1 million revenue, none of these things are a problem. Like competitive rivalry, no one knows you exist. You're not even a blip on the radar. But if you're now a $2 million behemoth, quote unquote behemoth, they're still small in that sector. The $10 million guy looks at the $2 million guy, and that's a threat. Better squish him, right?
Hmm.
Hey, who's a supplier? Cool, let's get that and let's drive the price down. And then all of a sudden, you and the other guys are now the only exclusive suppliers for Res in your territory, but the other guy's selling it for way cheaper than you. He's not even making any money. In fact, he's taking a small loss just to wipe you off the map, right? Yeah, I don't have to win. I just can't let you win, right? And
That's kind of the
that's a
Starbucks strategy, right? They
that's
open
a
up so
thought
many
process.
stores they
Yeah.
lose money. But what is there any kind of a threshold where it's like, okay, if the thing is not passing this test, I shouldn't go into business in the first place?
No, it's also speed to market, right? So back in the day when the fidget spinners were the thing, right? And everybody wanted the fidget spinner. There's no moat on a fidget spinner, right? And at that point, the Chinese, companies were like just turn them out. Like every single manufacturer was spitting these things out because there was no way to stop the onslaught of fidget spinners, right? And so what's special about a fidget spinner? Nothing, right? It's first to market. In that case, whoever was first to market won. They got all the market share because you don't need 12 fidget spinners. You need one, maybe two, right? And that's it. Once you have one, they're all the same, right? One of them might be oiled a little better, but you don't need 17 of these things. So it's speed to market. So sometimes it's just speed to market. Whoever gets the speed to market wins, and then that's it. And it might be a fad and it just blows out and it's gone, right? Who sells
Yeah.
fidget spinners now? They're all in the discount bins everywhere, right? If you can find them at all, right? And so that's it.
Hmm.
So there you go.
I
The
read
new
that.
thing. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I believe I heard that there was a woman who initially came up with the fidget spinner,
Mhm.
couldn't market it, and then let the patent lapse, and then everybody started jumping in.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was the case.
Speak for yourself.
The new fidget spinner is a replaceable popper. So those little popping bubbles you get out of the like packages and stuff, you can pop those things.
Oh yeah. Oh
There's
god. Yeah. Those are brutal.
there's plastic ones that you pop and then it just pops out the other way and you can pop it again. So there's repoppable popping bubble things. Those went crazy for like 3 months. Like I saw them everywhere. Everyone wanted
Yeah.
when my daughter has three. And
Mhm.
yeah, and then now they're gone. So again, speed to market sometimes is the only way for certain things. So if you don't have any defenses, it's all just run like hell, right? So it's just speed to market, sell all the damn things you can, and then get out, right?
Right.
So
Thought I had a point, but then it disappeared.
it's all good.
Totally fine. Let's move on. I think we're running a little behind here.
Sure.
Customer segmentation. This is another method of market research. Description. This method involves dividing your market into distinct groups of customers with similar characteristics or behavior. How to use. Demographic segmentation based on age, gender, income, etc. Geographic segmentation based on location. Psychographic. Ooh, psychographic band name called it. Psychographic segmentation based on lifestyles, values, and personality. Behavioral segmentation based on purchasing behavior, brand loyalty, etc. Benefits are it allows you to tailor your marketing efforts to specific groups, improving efficiency and effectiveness. This also seems like 101.
It is, but this becomes the intermediate to advanced stuff that you should be looking at again at a later date. Um, so one of the ways to do customer segmentation is just pick that one particular group of people within your customer base that makes the most amount of money, who are the most pleasant to deal with, right? Because
Mhm.
everyone has customers they like, and weird customers who ask you for trifold websites and take 9 years to give you your content, right? So you've got good customers and some weird ones, right? You want to double down on the good ones because one, they pay on time, they pay quickly, they're reasonable. Those things are diamonds, right? Like, so keep those ones and find more of those guys. So customer segmentation, once you understand your customer segment, it's easier for you to, one, write case studies, get testimonials, three, speak to them and them only, right? There was this one guy who did SEO, and he only did SEO for gyms and personal trainers. That's it. Dude was making 10 million a year because he was the king of all SEO for gyms and personal trainers. That's all he ever did.
Mhm.
Another guy, SEO company, only did SEO for dentists. That's it. Oh, I'm a chiropractor. Sorry, can't help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he only
Get
did
wrecked.
SEO for that. So that market customer segmentation made them the king of the castle in that space. All of a sudden, their SWOT analysis, customer segmentation, and everything else all just lined up like the planets, and then they took over that space because they became the go-to. Another dude was a chiropractor SEO. He only did stuff for chiropractors. These were all making like mid seven to like low eight figure businesses in one space because they were the king of the castle. And that's it. There's your customer segmentation. It's niching down, getting real specific, demographic, psychographic, da 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 da. But there you go. Fill your boots on customer segmentation. It's an absolute. I This is probably the best thing that AI is talking about, but it's a more advanced thing. You should do that or two first.
Hmm. Well, we were complaining that the first two were too basic, so we shouldn't be mad that this one's a bit more advanced.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Absolutely.
All right.
So just do them in the right order, right? Like do the basics first, then do intermediate. Like don't try to do spinning, hooking, jumping, twisting kick when you can't do a front kick, right? That doesn't work. You fall on your ass and you get sad. So
Take your word for it. We haven't covered spinning kicks in our martial arts class yet. Take your
we're
word
not
for it.
going there. Don't worry. I'm too old for that.
No, come on, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it Thursday.
I have to
Um,
stretch first before that stuff now. So
yeah. Okay, so what are some things to avoid according to Mr. Chat GPT?
we can bang
Um,
out both of these at the same time. They're actually pretty small but simple.
okay, ignoring data quality. Reason: poor data quality can lead to incorrect conclusions and misguided strategies. That's very true. What to do instead? Ensure your data is accurate, relevant, and up to date before making decisions based on it. Two, relying solely on historical data. Reason: past performance doesn't always predict future outcomes, especially in rapidly changing markets. What to do instead? Combine historical data with real time data and predictive analysis to get a more comprehensive view. Hmm.
So yes to both. Ignoring data quality. It's like, well, where did this data come from? Oh, it's from the weird guy who smokes crack downstairs, and he's half naked most of the time. That's not going to be a really good source of data, right? Like it's just like, wait, but
Right?
he's a visionary, right? He's weird, but So yeah, no, like so, data quality is super important. Where'd you get your data from? Where is it real, right? Is it trustworthy? Right? Because if you got your data from some study that was, that your competitors ran, it's going to benefit your competitors more than it's going to benefit you, and they sold you all the bad stuff, right? And then relying solely on historical data. Well, this is the way we've always done it. Is the mantra of sinking ships all over the place, right? Kodak saying, "Hey, that digital thing is not going to take off." Right? That's the way we've always done it, right?
Mhm.
Train companies, they're like, oh yeah, the people are building roads with trucks now. No, trains are forever. Yeah, man, trucks can go different places, trains can't go. Well, guess which one died? Like, there's not as many trains anymore as trucks because trucks are more versatile. So, in terms of like historical data, absolutely don't just rely on pure historicals because stuff will change eventually. And then ignoring data quality. If your data quality is bad, like garbage in, garbage out, as the saying goes, right? So I agree to both. Both are good things to avoid for sure on research.
Easy peasy.
Well, your
All right.
cake is only as good as the ingredients, right? So if you put a bunch of rotten stuff in your cake's not gonna taste so good. So
Yeah, you go to like a fancy restaurant and it's like they just use the good piece of meat and a good salt on it, and it's like, oh, this is delicious. Yeah,
yeah, who knew?
good ingredients. What is the red hot tip from AI?
Red hot tip.
Utilize A/B testing for data-driven decisions. Description: A/B testing involves comparing two versions of a marketing element to see which one performs better. How to use: Identify the variable to test, e.g., email subject lines, landing page designs, ad copies. Split your audience into two groups randomly, present each group with one version of the variable, maximize the performance of each version based on defined metrics, e.g., click through rates, conversion rates. Benefit provides clear, actionable insights into what works best for your audience, enabling you to make data driven decisions with confidence.
That is a very good red hot tip. When I was purely a
You're
marketing
holding
guy,
back.
when there was the when I was a pure marketing guy, I can't remember I think it was called Which One Won.
Mm-hmm.
Gave you literally the A/B split test, and it didn't tell you the answer until the end, where it's like, okay, well, we chose this because of this, we chose that because of this, and it gives you all the story of how the flow went, and then eventually it told you which one won, right? And here's the hilarious thing: nobody knows why. They're gonna come up with this, that, or any other reason why this won when this one didn't, and none of us know, right? It's just whatever the customers buy. So that's why, yeah. So red hot tip: A/B split testing for data-driven decisions. Absolutely. What color do you make the button? How big do you make the button? No one freaking knows. So you can follow what the best practices are, but then if that's all you do all day long, you're gonna run out of stuff to test, right? If they say, "Oh, the
Yeah.
orange button always works," and then someone tries the blue button, and all of a sudden the blue button kicks ass. Hey, guess what, orange guys, you're wrong, right? One of the biggest I guess, thought processes back in the day was hide your ad on the site that it's on such that it looks like the rest of the website and blends into the background of the site. So it looks like it belongs in the site. So if the site is red and blue, make your ad red and blue, make all your pictures red and blue, make all your crap red and blue. And because it's red and blue on a red and blue site, people will go, hey, that's probably part of the site. And they'll click on, no, absolutely not. You know what? We made the ugliest green. We just found the ugliest green possible in the whole color palette and stuck that on the red and blue site. And because it stood out like a sore thumb, people went, ugh. Then they saw it, then they went, and then they clicked it.
Right. If it blends in
Right.
too well, it gets ignored. It's
Yeah.
relegated to background noise.
So there you go. That whole A/B split test. You have no idea. And if anyone else says otherwise, they have no idea what the hell. They're like, oh yeah, we did tons of these. Great. You're only as good as your last one. How good did your last campaign run? Well, excellent. Use data from that. Did it crash? Throw it out. Try it again.
Use data from that too, but just for what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Sometimes,
This is kind of,
sometimes,
in the world of like, marketing textbooks, it's like, this is relatively new on the scene. Like you used to be, if you're going to put an ad in a magazine, you couldn't necessarily test it that effectively. I would think you just have to kind of run it and hope your ad guy knows what he's doing.
because back then the print of the magazine was expensive, the
Mm-hmm.
phone number at the end of the magazine ad was expensive, or the put your information here and we'll mail you an envelope pre-postage paid da 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 was expensive, right? Because it was cost prohibitive to do those things. And now it's a website. It's freaking ones and zeros. Clone page, make one purple. Oh my God. And that's really all there is to it now. So because the cost has gone down, the time to create has gone down, this split testing method is, a relevant thing to try against now because there's little to no effort in the thing and it doesn't cost much. So you may as well, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and there we go.
Do you ever get like a kind of paralysis of analysis thing with that, where it's like you're testing too much stuff and you need to
Nope.
just settle on something? No,
I
not
cut I
always.
cut the tests down to as small as possible,
Hmm.
right? Otherwise, you're never it's a never ending thing. It's almost like the remember when radio stations had that one song champion, and people would vote for that song, and there'd be a contender for the champion song, and people would vote for the new song or the old song, right?
Hmm.
And you dial this number and press one for the old one, dial this number and press two for the new one. That's exactly what an A/B split test is. Hey, what does the audience want to listen to today? Same kind of thing. So it's been around forever. It's just that, playing a song on radio doesn't cost that much because you're playing them both anyways, right?
Right.
But printing a magazine ad that goes national, well, crap, which one gets the red one, which one gets the yellow one?
Hmm.
Who knows, right?
Right.
Do you
The
mix them
magazine
all in
might
one
not
big
be
mash and
willing
see what
to.
happens? Well, yeah, nobody knows because, people on the West Coast, I used to work for a company that had the data for Honda, and they would ask me, Earl, what color should we make the car in the commercial? And the funny thing is, it was very different. On the West Coast, we bought a lot of black cars, and then on the East Coast, they bought a lot of red cars. So my question was, where are you airing this commercial? 'Cause if it's on this coast, it's this. If it's on that coast, it's that. And they're like, oh, we never thought of that. And guess what? They shot the exact same commercial twice with the one red car and one black car, and it sold like crazy because that's the one they like to buy on that coast. Data doesn't lie, right? The numbers don't lie. And like, that was it. So, because what they used to shoot one commercial and make it the same thing, but that was it. Yeah, and all of it was just a car driving along the highway along a mountain, right? So they just,
Yeah. Brought two cars and drove it twice.
yeah, that was it.
All right. A/B test, everybody. You heard it here first.
A/B test.
We
There
got
you go.
big, juicy, big chunky hack of the week this week. So let's get right into it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, I barely heard it. I don't know if it was.
Try it again.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming through properly. Better. Hack of the week.
Lots of hacks.
Yeah.
Well, it's appropriate, I guess, with three hacks.
Hmm.
Oh, I turned down the volume because your mic was super hot, so I turned the volume down on yours so it wouldn't overpower me over here. So my volume was a little down for the hack.
So sorry.
Anyway, no, it's okay. It's all good. So market research is easy. Number one, list your competitors, go through all their Google and Facebook reviews, find all of their weaknesses, cross-reference all the weaknesses with your strengths, and then build marketing campaigns that don't name them, but talk about all their failings and how your company does better in that category. Create content all around that and post it in your socials and Google Maps and everything you can get your hands on. And ta-da, that's a really quick and dirty way to do market research, right? Like, hey, what is everyone pissed off about the competitors for? Cool, steal them, right?
So when you say find weaknesses, you're looking for things which are mentioned in the reviews as being bad.
Yeah. Their packaging is terrible. Every time we get this thing, the bubble wrap is kind of half cocked around this thing, and like half my crap is dented and broken. Well, tell your staff, hey, everyone complains about this in this industry. If we're the only idiots who, double tape the stupid bubble wrap to the thing so the thing doesn't get damaged in transit, people are really going to like that. And that was a real thing for one of our customers, like way back in the day. I'm like, yo, just double tape the bubble wrap, you win. And they did. And then people actually had in the reviews, this is the best package, I can't remember what the hell this was, thing I have ever gotten in the mail. I'm like, see? Who knew? Right?
My client who did nail polish really focused on our packaging, and God, people went crazy for that packaging.
Because when you do packaging for different genres and different niches, sometimes people do opening videos. And so they open the video, they open their package on video. And that's like what was that? Ryan Reviews Toys. That's his entire website, right? That's all he does. So if you have really cool packaging and they're like, hey, this is good stuff, and the kids look at it and just lose their minds, then yeah, it's good packaging. So the next thing is it talked about data, right? And good data. Well, one of the good places for data is Google. Why? Because everyone uses it to search for stuff. Well, except for people who use Chat GPT search now, but
And
using
Bing,
Google.
don't forget about Bing.
Right, Bing. Bing is for the people who use Windows who don't know how to use Google, and it's just the default browser on Internet Explorer, which is the Internet Explorer is the Firefox download tool, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. So Google Trends is a really good tool. Answer the Public is a really good tool. SEMrush is another really good tool. Just use these tools that can look at what customers are looking for. Like it'll tell you literally, hey, there were this many searches for this and this many searches for that. Which one's bigger? Go get it, right? And then create content accordingly. It's easier to do search marketing when your content is in line with the exact questions people are asking. And that's what you get from Answer the Public. You literally get what are people typing in the browser, or is a request going, hey, I don't know how to find this. How do I change a light bulb? Cool. How do they ask the question? How do I change a light bulb? Right. And then as an upgrade to these things, there are frequently asked questions, which are what you get from doing the Google Trend analysis and just asking people. And then there's should be asked questions, right? It's a second level deep question. right? So this is questions that your market should be asking, but they have no idea that they're supposed to be asking this kind of stuff, right? So I just got off a meeting with a home inspector, right? And people always ask about the same type of things. One of the questions that people don't ask that they should is, how do you check for termites? And they're like, oh, damn, well, that's kind of important. Hey, what's your house made of? Wood? Termites, right? Hey, that's a really good question. Never thought of that. Oh God. And so if he makes content around that, and so you're talking about other pests, raccoons, rats, or just weird bug, termites. Termites is a whole different story. They'll eat your house, right? There's a difference. And so, yeah. And if you can just combo a couple of these things, 1-2 punch, right? Like, how do I know if my house needs pest control? That's one, right? Where and how do I find rat droppings? Where's the easiest place to check for rat dropping? Okay, cool. That's nice, but this is how to check for termites. You have a wood frame on your house? Here's how to check if you have a wood frame. Here's how to check for termites. That's really powerful stuff that could literally demolish your house if you don't check, right? From a home inspector. So it's kind of important, right? So combo punch 1, 2 of these items. So whatever people are searching for versus what actually will keep them up at night and make them, not sleep. And if you combo punch those two things together, one, then two, you'll really drive home your expertise and your space, and you'll stand out in your field of work, right? Um, I'll give you one more example of this. It
Okay.
was and I know I've given this example before on this podcast. It was the Disney one, right? Did you know that there's an order of rides that you can go on using the Disney Fast Pass that actually lets you increase the number of rides you go in on a day? So instead of standing in line all day, which is what most people do, if you go in this order at this time, you'll actually get more rides out of the day. And people don't know that. They go, "Oh my God, really?" So that's a second tier type question as a travel agent if you specialize in Disney, right? But then there's the special restaurant at Disneyland, not Disney World, Disneyland, that lets you drink and smoke. So while the kids are driving you bonkers, you stick them in the small world and you go to this place and then, have a good time as parents. You don't get an invite unless you know what the restaurant is called. So now you have to go look it up. But yeah, so there's a magic restaurant where you can only get an invite if you ask, unless you know what this is. So then this is what travel agents should be doing to sell more travel in their sector, right? And then last but not least, I don't know, but if you know this, but in every one of the Disneylands, Disney Worlds, Disney Sea, there's these things called hidden Mickeys. And it's a thing like a rope, maybe with the mouse ears or whatever. So there's hidden
Yeah.
Mickeys all over the place. All these, quote unquote professional Disney goers actually compete to see how many hidden Mickeys they can find and know, right? So, how well do you know your sector, right? I'm not a travel agent. I know all these things just because I coached other people in the space, but how well do you know your space? So if you can really combo that 1-2 punch, man, you really sound like you know what you're doing, right? And the hilarious thing with a couple of these tricks, I can outsell people who've been in the travel industry for like 30 years, right? And they're like, why don't you sell so well? It's just using that one particular hack of the week, the 1-2 punch with the deeper question and answer combo. You do that, hey, people herald you as an expert. And that's it.
Instantly, you're becoming an instant expert.
That's it. Instant expert. It's actually what it's called.
Wink.
Wink.
All right. I think that's a wrap for this week. That went well, I thought. Hopefully, the audience
Absolutely.
agrees. Oh,
There we go. And we'll see what the
Dan's
audience
going on in the
asks
background
us
there.
in weird questions this week. If anyone asks any blueberry related questions, at
Yeah.
least they'll know because
No,
you can answer it.
no follow ups on the blueberry question, please. That's all the data I'm prepared to provide, as if that's not enough.
There you go.
Thanks
Yeah,
everybody for tuning in.
reply to the guy who asked to say, "Hey, watch this week's episode."
Yeah. Okay. He commented on LinkedIn on last week's episode. I need to go
Uh,
find
I,
it.
I screenshotted it and I sent it to you, so you have it
Oh,
now. So
nice.
there you go. All right,
Oh,
I'll play us out.
whoever was that sent that question, thank you. We appreciate the involvement in the show. It means a lot to us. But no more
Absolutely.
embarrassing questions. Thank
Nope. No more questions. Thanks. All right, I'll play us out unless you have any
you.
final
No.
words.
Thank you, Earl. Thank you, ChatGPT. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That's it.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, we said we are going to do that after the music.
Here's
Oh,
the
well.
music.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.
Bye, everybody.